because I have an Instagram and YouTube Love Sugar show. So I want to thank you for being a part of it.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sure. I love having guests on the show. And if you don't mind, just end it doing a quick introduction and a fun fact about you.
Yeah, I'm Peter. I play in Shrineburner, based out of Chicago. I guess a fun fact about me outside of music is I do a lot of artwork for different bands in Chicago, as well as our band and all sorts of different things. I've done stuff for different brands, you name it, all sorts of different styles. So it's been cool to work with like a lot of different types of people outside of metal and music and everything. It's been really fun.
That's awesome. And do you do like digital art or do you draw it out?
I do everything. I do a lot of painting, and then for some stuff, I do digital. A lot of t-shirt designs are digital stuff, but I do a lot of watercolor and acrylic stuff. I'm working on a mural right now at a shop down the street in Chicago, actually. So,
That's pretty cool. Well, thanks for sharing. So I did want to go ahead and talk about this album. I did get a chance to listen to it. I know it was I got it kind of quick today, but when I started the album, I was like I wasn't really sure what to expect. But then as the album like progressed, I'm like, wow, this is really good. Like I really enjoyed it. And my dog liked it so much he refused to even move off my lap. Like he sat, and then once the album was over, he left. And I'm like, wow.
the biggest compliment we could have.
Yeah, so he's a metal dog too. He just doesn't know it.
Right on.
So I'm curious, what inspired the concept behind this album?
I don't know if there's like a singular thing that I could point to. The way that I've written music has progressed a lot over the years, especially in this band. We started off as a two-piece, and I think to round out the sound, I was playing a ton of amps. I still do, but even
Mhm.
more. So the riffs were a little simpler, just to kind of create more of a wall. Sometimes when you do too much technical stuff, some bands can do it. I'm not saying that you can't, but
Yeah.
sometimes when there's too much technical stuff, it kind of starts to sound a little thin. So a
Mm.
lot of the focus during that period was writing like really big low end riffs, which is definitely still how I write music, but it's kind of progressed as a more collaborative effort. The initial drummer I was playing with, my great friend Brent, he plays in a Chicago band called Scarlet Demore. He was the original drummer, and then we kind of were both busy and kind of just drifted apart in terms of playing music together. And that's when Eddie joined and CJ on bass. And with a more rounded out sound, it kind of gave me a lot more room to play with different influences I've had over the years.
Yeah.
So there's influences on the record from like, there's a little bit of black metal, like death metal stuff, like death. There's a lot of like, I listen to a lot of psychedelic music. There's a lot of that influence in it.
Mhm.
I listen to like, honestly, with the only band I listen to is Black Sabbath, and so there's some of that in. I don't play guitar at all like Tony Iommi, but I think that he's super inspiring, and Ozzy is like the most inspiring dude ever. So a lot of that is kind of channeled into it. But I don't think there's any one thing that I'm sorry I'm getting long winded here, but I don't think there's one thing that inspired it. It was more like a general idea that all of us had to make a really powerful, heavy record that kind of had like some uplifting undertones. A lot of the lyrics are about like a dying world and the evils of organized religion and stuff like that. But I think that musically, some of the stuff behind that is a little more uplifting. And then there's certain lyrics that are like, we could still find pockets of enjoyment in this. And that's where I think community and friends and family really play a huge role in my life. That's
That
maybe the most roundabout answer I could have given.
Oh no, you're good. I was just thinking when I was listening to it, I was trying to figure out like what genre of metal because I'm like, it kind of sounds like this, but then it kind of sounds like this, and I was like, I don't know what it is, but it's good.
I think we've been really proud of like I think when I started writing it, it was doom metal, and then as it progressed, there's a lot of different elements, and I think all three of us individually are really proud of not really being able to stick a label on it. I think it
Mhm.
shows a lot of all of our influences, and I think it's unique, and I think it's we had a lot of fun writing it and a lot of fun making it. And it's super important to us.
Well, that's awesome. So I'm curious, what did you do differently on this album?
Um, this record we recorded in Chicago at a studio called Altered States with Matt Russell, who's incredible. He did some of Resin's records, if you know that band, Ooze and
Mhm.
Wound, Chicago legends. They're friends with Ed. So we went into that studio and we booked 2 days with the intention of doing drums there and then
Mhm.
doing the rest of the album in a home studio. And then that kind of turned into we're just going to track this live and see if we can get really good drum takes. And then maybe we'll still record the rest at a home studio. And then day one went like crazy well, and everything sounded amazing. And we had another day. So we were like, these drum tracks are really solid. All the rhythms are great. Like, let's just use day two for overdubs. So we kind of like didn't necessarily plan on recording the whole album there, but Matt is a genius, and the way that he was recording my guitar is huge. And we had a
Mhm.
lot of fun, and the three of us have not yet recorded together. So it was really cool. We came in, I think, really prepared, and we just kind of flew through it, and everything clicked. There's a track on the album called "An Ocean of Broken Hope." I think it's like the fifth track or so, maybe fourth,
Mhm.
and it's like 13 minutes long, and it was just all once through, no click, one take. And I think that like is really powerful when you listen to it. I think on its own, it's a really powerful song, but knowing that even more so for us, we're really proud of that.
That's a long song. I feel like when I was listening to that, I didn't realize it was all the same song. Like, and I was just like, I didn't get tired of listening to it. Like, I kept saying like, okay, this is great, and then it's over, and I'm like, oh man, I wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah, you gotta get that ending part. Yeah, there's some songs that we've written over the years that are, especially when we play them live, people are like, "What's that third song you played?" I'm like, that was all one." There's different parts
Yeah.
where it'll kind of stop for a second and then come back in. I'm a really big fan of writing stuff that like is kind of mantra like and repetitive, but it doesn't really lose your interest. Like it has to go somewhere eventually, but I do like repetition in music, and I think it's cool. And I think that song is definitely showcases that.
It definitely is. I liked it because, like I said, it was familiar, but it's like it wasn't boring. It was like a, oh man, it's over already. And then I look at the track and I'm like, that was 13 minutes, but it didn't feel like that.
Oh yeah, well that's awesome to hear. I'm glad.
So the title, Hymns of Despair, that's a really heavy title. So what does despair mean to you personally in this album?
Um, Man, I think over the course of life, um, I wouldn't say on the whole I've had a rough go. I think I've had some rough situations that I put myself in through just being a young dumb kid. And then I think the way that the world has shifted, or maybe not shifted is the right word, the way that the underdealings of the general world have kind of come to light is pretty crushing, and realizing just how terrible everything is, in the way that the world is run, and how all these governments are so just mind-blowingly evil, the way you saw in movies growing up and you never really wanted to believe, but you kind of knew in the back of your head it was probably true.
Yeah.
And I think the other half of that is like this stuff being common knowledge, and you can read about it anywhere you want, and half the population will tell you that you're wrong. I think there's a lot of despair in that for me. A lot of inspiration. There's like some lyrics on the album about like burning wealthy people and killing the rich, and starting a class war, which isn't my normal lyrical content. But in Spectral Cataclysm, I mean, I think I won't get too political on here, but I just think that the overwhelming way that the world has gone politically has left a lot of people, rightfully so, in despair. So that was definitely an influence. And then I just think the general ups and downs of being alive. Sometimes it's a little difficult, and I'm lucky to have an outlet where I can go turn up a bunch of amps really loud and scream my head off, and then feel better afterwards. And not everyone has that outlet, so maybe this record helps with that. But I think in the context of the actual album,
Hmm.
Hymns of Despair, it's just like you know, like you have songs like Slow Death Chant, like it's like a death rattle kind of idea. Just really really dark imagery.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know, sometimes it's good to have those dark albums because when you listen to it, you feel better afterwards. So,
Yeah, I agree. I don't love anything that's overly dark. Like I said, I think some of those tracks have uplifting melodies. And I think I'm not religious or anything, but I think there's an aspect of me that maybe I would call spiritual.
hmm.
And I think that finding light in darkness is really important rather than just dwelling on certain things. Like I can doom scroll on Instagram all day and read about what's happening, or I can like turn to my dog and pet my dog and like go hang out with my friends and enjoy this awesome community right outside my doorstep and play shows and hang out with my bandmates. And I think generally that's what I tend to focus on. Whether some of the more dark stuff comes out in my music, that's kind of happens, but I think that that's a good outlet for it.
For sure. Doom scrolling is a thing. I feel like I do that so much, but then sometimes you get a video, where someone's helping like a baby duck out of a sewer or something, and you're like, oh, that's really
Those are
cute.
great. Yeah. Yeah, those are necessary to break up your day. I watch a lot of dog videos.
Yes. And I'm curious for the writing, does it come together as like a collaboration or is it like individually and then you guys come together or how does that kind of work?
Um, for this album, I think I wrote all the riffs and the vocal melodies and lyrics. Um, and then the guys wrote their own parts. So I would call it collaborative for sure. The way that we usually or have so far written songs is I'll come with either a riff or a whole song and play it, and then Eddie will write a drum part for it. He's
Hmm.
usually perfect the first one that he writes. I couldn't even name a time where I had to ask him to switch something. He's incredible, multi instrumentalist, really good writer. Same with CJ. CJ plays bass in the band. He's also an incredible guitar player, and his bass lines are great. So kind of how we've operated to not go completely off track here, as I apparently love to do. I usually bring a riff as an idea, and then we expand on it with each other.
Hmm.
And then I usually write vocals last. I the way that I write vocals is there's a lot of like the first EP that we released. A lot of the lyrics are different when we play those songs live because I kind of write how Buzz Osborne from the Melvins does on some of his songs, where it's like a frenetic thing. Like there won't even be real words half the time. I'm just kind of getting a melody and it's a bunch of gibberish that doesn't make any sense, which
Yeah.
makes it easier for me to write lyrics, but then it's also harder for me to plug real words in after because I've gotten used to like certain inflections. So maybe that introduces another challenge, but also live, sometimes I just, if I forget something, I just go frenetic and you usually can't tell.
Yeah.
So that's a nice fallback, I guess, that is a result of how I write stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I feel like during live shows it's not, like recording, like you can't just go back and be like, oh, okay, let me redo that. It's just like I'm on the spot. I just gotta figure it out.
It's out there. Usually it's okay. I don't think I've ever had a spot where I've just said nothing. So we're doing it.
Well, maybe the crowd wouldn't even know anyway. They'd just be like, oh, maybe he's taking a pause for a dramatic effect.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, I think to add on top of that, I think when you start playing in bands and a lot of younger bands, you'll focus on like you missed a note. And it's like people don't know your songs that well, you know.
Yeah.
That's always comforting, right? If you do miss a line or something, you're like, especially if you're playing unreleased stuff, nobody knew that was supposed to be there, you know.
Exactly. Well, is there any memorable or like chaotic moments that you had during the recording process or maybe writing process?
Um, Not like during the processes, I don't think. I think the only hang up was that we had were vocals, because we recorded them at CJ's home studio, in the interest of time. And then it maybe made it a little bit more difficult to line them up with the actual tracks,
Hmm.
for Matt, who was engineering and mixing it. But overall, I mean, it was really smooth. Matt recorded it and mixed it, and then Ed, our drummer, has his own mastering company, and he mastered it. And the way
Nice.
those two collaborate is amazing. So to be honest with you, it couldn't have gone any smoother. I think if you were to ask them, they would say that I was really annoying, because
Uh-oh.
I sometimes you listen to something too many times, right? And like you've listened to this six different mixes, and you're like, I don't know. It's just like you start hearing things that aren't there. It's just too much, and I'm like, I'll text Ed all day long and tell him, and like especially with the masters, I'm sure it was driving him crazy. Bless him, he's really patient with me. But for whatever reason, I think it's just the anxiety of releasing new stuff, and when it gets closer, my brain just starts being like, "Are you sure this sounds right?" So I'm sure both of them would say that the drama, and if there were any holdup, was all me.
Yeah. So knowing that, since it's already done, release dates out there, would you change anything?
Uh, Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can sit on something for a year. Like I've known a lot of bands that do, and it's no shade to them whatsoever. You want to make sure that you're going to put your best foot forward.
Hmm.
Um, but I think with songs that long and that dynamic and that complex, you can sit there and like adjust a snare sound for 6 months, or you can just kind of do what we did, which is we were like, we're really proud of this. It sounds awesome. Why wait? Like, I think that the main point of our band is the live show, and that's how we should be experienced, with like a lot of amps and like chest rattling and just like
Yeah.
powerful energy. And I think that's our big focus. Making awesome albums is really fun too, and we really like that. But we're like, cool, let's get this music out. We're proud of it. It sounds great. Let's play some shows. So no, I would not change a thing. I could not be more grateful for everyone that lended a hand to the album. It's been awesome to make, and I'm really excited for people to hear it.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm curious to know, the band as a whole, what kind of emotions were you channeling into this album for the listener to experience?
I think like some bits, like Spectral Cataclysm, the single that's out. There's like that really aggressive first half of the song, and then it kind of backs off into this clean part that kind of fades in, that then
Hmm.
gets really heavy again. And I think the clean part is a lot of just like that's what I mean when I'm talking about like uplifting parts. I think that like that melody is very melancholic and kind of happy at the same time. It sounds too happy to be in a doom metal song, and then it gets really evil, and I really like doing that. Or like songs like An Ocean of Broken Hope, where the lyrics are inherently fairly depressing, but I think that the melody is I don't know what emotion it's conveying, but like it is emotional for me. Like when we play it, I feel it, and it feels tough, and it feels raw. So I don't know if I have like specific words for emotions conveyed through the album. I'm clearly not exactly a wordsmith. But I know that for me, when I play it and I listen to it, I feel it, and it's raw, and it's real, and it's genuine. And that's what's really important to me about any message I'm putting out there, especially one that's kind of coming from within me musically. I just want it to be something that makes somebody feel something, and that's a genuine emotion, and it's some sort of release for them.
Well, one thing I definitely noticed in the album, and I don't know if it's like a weird thing and people may or may not notice this, but you can tell when an artist like really enjoys making the album and when it's just like okay, I gotta get this album out. But in this album, like you can feel like this heart and soul go into it. It wasn't like oh crap, guys, we got a month, let's get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all really felt like that too. We were really excited going into it, and really locked in, and I just think that was like right now still we're just feeling really, really good as a band and looking forward to the future, and yeah, I don't it was just the perfect time for us to make it, and I'm glad that showed through. I'm glad you picked up on that. It really means a lot to me.
Well, I'm glad it was there because, like I said, I'm just like the album. Like I said, it just I wasn't sure what to expect because I usually don't like read about the band. I listen to it first, so
Yeah.
I can just feel the album out, and then I'll go back and kind of look at the information. I was like, I was not expecting that, so it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
So since we're on questions about emotions and all the fun stuff, what track hits the closest to you, like closest to home? Emotion.
Um, I think that there's a line in the song "Slow Death Chant" that I actually think when I recorded it, I reversed it, but so it'll be different on the album. But when I play it live, the line is "Dark breeds light," which is this idea that it's kind of like this depressing build, and then it's like, yes, but we can find a way. I think I reversed it, and I think it says "Light breeds dark" on the record, which also works to what I'm saying. But I really like that line. And then "An Ocean of Broken Hope" is, I think, my favorite one on the record. I just think that one is like really raw and really. I just think it makes me feel the most, especially playing it live. The way that I sing it, there's just a lot of power from it, and the guitar is different than the way we usually write stuff. It's slow and it's articulate, and that ending is really powerful. So I think on the album, that's the one that resonates with me the most. And it has very I have in the past dealt with drug addiction and alcoholism, and I'm really lucky to be sober. And and I think that it doesn't explicitly mention that anywhere on the album, but I have lyrics that are kind of like a bridge to that without actually saying that. And I think that one in particular, I really had those struggles in mind as I was writing it.
Well, that's awesome that you got there. I mean, like some people don't.
Take
So
some time.
you
Yeah.
can be like an inspiration to other people too. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So when listeners are listening to it, do you think this album is one where you should like start from the beginning and go to the end, or do you think it's one where listeners can kind of like jump around?
Yeah, we really went a little back and forth on the track listing because I think the way that I like to listen to music is I like to listen to an album all the way through. And I think in general, artists choose the track listing because they think if somebody's going to listen to the whole thing, this is how it listens best. So I
Yeah.
would say it's always best to listen to an album all the way through, and we've chosen the song order to play through like that. Um, but I think everyone listens to music differently, and I think even like you listen to like Lateralis by Tool or something, like that's supposed to be played all the way through, right? Like there are straight up intermissions and like noise bites in between that you miss if you don't just click on something. But you can also click on like The Patient and listen to it, and it's a badass riff, and like
Yeah.
you're not really losing anything. So I think everyone listens to music differently, and if you want to listen to each song on the album individually, and that's how you listen to music, that's awesome. You just have to listen to all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. So I'm curious. I know the album you do have a little bit to go. It doesn't release till September, but what's next for the band? Are you just kind of waiting for the release or setting up shows just so the audience knows?
We do have a release show set. It's actually about a week before the album releases. So people that come out to that, it's in Chicago. We're from Chicago. So people that come out to that, we'll have physical copies of the album. If you want to hear it early, if you leak it, I guess that's fine. I don't know. Don't, but like, I'm not your boss. But that's going to be September 2nd at Beat Kitchen in Chicago with some good friends of ours, Asive. They're a really awesome band on Thrill Jockey Records, just punishingly heavy, really, really nice guys. We did a couple of shows with them earlier this year in Iowa, and we're really excited to have them. And then there's another special guest that we can't announce until August.
Well,
Um, and then we'll have another single coming out off of the album and a music video that we're actually making this weekend. Um, And then we're doing a like a live studio session. I believe it's in front of an audience, but with like an interview and a live recording in August. And that's kind of what we have on our plate right now. But yeah, we're just probably start booking more shows this fall, and we're looking forward to playing these songs. We've kind of peppered in some of them over the
Yeah.
last couple months, but we're gonna do like a full album playthrough at the release show, and then our live sets going forward will very heavily feature this album.
Well, that sounds really exciting.
I'm very excited.
How do you think people react to the album when you play it for the first time in front of them?
Um, I've showed it to a few of my friends. I'm really lucky. I don't have a lot of yes men in my corner. I think that that's a disservice to everyone involved, and I'm glad that my friends are real with me, and the reception has been really better than I had expected. I've a lot of my friends are extremely supportive of the band and are genuine fans, which is great. And so far, just faces that we've seen show up at shows for years, and friends, just other people that I know that I think probably 10 or 15 people have heard it.
Mhm.
And everyone's reaction has kind of been like, where the fuck did that come from? And I'm like, all right, cool. Um, and so far, the songs that we have played live, we've gotten really good feedback from, and people have enjoyed themselves. So that's been really cool.
That's awesome. Well, I will go ahead and let you announce the album when it comes out, where people can pre-order it or get a copy of it.
Yeah, it comes out September 11th. It's called Hymns of Despair. It's going to be, I think it's actually like September 10th at like 11 p.m. or something. For some lucky people, but in the world, it'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, everything. You can pre-order it now. Right now, it's just a CD and digital. You can do that on our Bandcamp, which is just shrineburner.bandcamp.com. If you want to stay updated with anything, it's just Shrineburner Band on Instagram. We're pretty active there. And down the road, we'll do tapes, and we have a vinyl plan.
Awesome. And for anyone watching, I'll make sure to put everything in the description so it makes it so easy. You don't have to go looking. You just click on it and it takes you right there. And I want to thank you so much for taking your time for doing this interview.
Thank you so much for having me. It really means a lot that you listened to the record and wanted to have me. And seriously, I really appreciate the support.